Big Dilly.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It has been a little while. I've been gone because of college. I'm a senior now in engineering. Finals are always, always horrible, disgusting. They make me want to punch myself in the face. Anyways, I digress. Today, I'm going to bring you guys a build that I have dubbed the Invincible Mantle. It's a Titan build. It's based on the exotic, the icefall mantle, which you already know is pretty good in PvE. It gives you a fat overshield. But I've gone 3 or 4 steps farther and provided every single way that I could think of to either reheal yourself, reduce damage, or grant yourself an overshield. And this is the build that I came up with, and I think it's the best way to just flat out not die. I've been a Titan main since like Destiny 1. I've always played Titan, and the thing that sold me on the class was like, Titan, tanky. Like, this guy just doesn't die. He goes around rezzing all his teammates. He's the anchor. He saves the day because he's not dead. Well, up until now, we haven't had any exotics really. Just, it's never really fulfilled that fantasy where you just don't die. This build does it for me. It's so much fun. We'll get into the clips in a minute. I'll show you guys how each piece works, what each piece does, and whatnot. And it's what Titans really should be. Alright, so the first part of this build is obviously Icefall Mantle. If you read the description here, Glacial Guard replaces your barricade ability with a personal armor reinforcement that absorbs a small amount of damage. While reinforced, you are slowed and barricade does not recharge. So in case you don't know, you use what you would normally be your barricade, and instead you pop this overshield, and you can see it as a green bar on top of your normal health bar. And you have a 20-second timer. Any damage you receive will reset that timer. So it goes down to 8 seconds left out of the original 20 seconds. You get damaged by anything, it'll reset to 20. But there's no way, I've seen people try it, there's no way to regenerate the shield. Once it's gone, as in once you've taken enough damage for the overshield to go away, it won't come back, and then you have to wait for it to recharge. And another thing is that the shield does not recharge while it's active. So that little bar that normally fills up after you pop your barricade, while you have the overshield, you have to wait. It doesn't recharge at all while you have it. There are things that you can use to speed up the regenerate once you are able to regenerate it, but we'll go over those later. Our exotic weapon of choice for this build is going to be the Lament. If you haven't used or know what this thing does, please go get it right now. See those little things down there? Those little blue teeth? Yeah, it's a chainsaw sword. It's a chainsaw sword. It does a ridiculous amount of damage. Alright, now if we look up here, the thing that I really care about, and the thing that's most important to this build, is the exotic trait called Revved Consumption. Damaging a combatant heals the wielder. So, blocking reduces the damage. The more stacks you get, the more damage resistance you have, and you re-heal health that you've lost while you were approaching the enemy. Alright, so far, we've got an exotic that can give you an overshield, the Icefall Mantle. We have an exotic weapon that heals you and does a ridiculous amount of damage. Now, the next thing is an armor mod called Protective Light. Alright, so this mod reads that while charged with light, you gain significant damage resistance against combatants when your shields are destroyed. So up at the top you have that gray health bar, that's your shields, and once it turns red, now your shields have been destroyed and you're in your health part. So I'll continue. This effect consumes all stacks of charged with light. The more stacks consumed, the longer the damage resistance lasts. So even after the rehealing from the Lament, if the overshield gets broken on your Icefall Mantle, and you do happen to go critical, this mod is really powerful. You consume a stack with Charged with Light, and you'll get a buff in the bottom corner of the screen that says Protected by the Void. I believe that's what it says. And you take so much less damage. Like, I was surprised at how effective this mod is. So up next, I want to talk about what super and what subclass tree we're going to be using because it is very important to this build. The subclass tree that I chose is Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, Code of the Siegebreaker. The reason I chose this, because if we read this perk right here called Sol Invictus, solar ability kills restore your health. Grenade, melee ability, and Sun Warrior kills leave a deadly sunspot in their wake. So what happens is, you use your melee or your grenade or a hammer from your super, it spawns a sunspot and it gives you a chunk of your health back. Now, if any enemies walk through that and die, that also gives you more health back. So you could stand in your sunspot, enemies will come melee you, they'll die, you get more health. Also, if you kill, I believe it's 4 red bars, 2 orange bars, or a yellow bar enemy, that will also spawn another sunspot which you can either hop into or let it kill other enemies and also refill your health. Alright, so this next portion of the video is just going to be about weapons and perks and mods, armor mods anyways, that are going to help keep this build up more often and things that you need to make this build work. So the first thing is a weapon called the Steady Hand. You can currently get this in Iron Banner, and it's non-sunset, so that's a plus. And it's got a perk on it called Wellspring. Now, this perk states that kills with this weapon generate ability energy. This energy is divided between your uncharged abilities. So it's basically like Demolitionist, but you can charge all of your abilities, and if you have 2 of them charged, the third one will charge just as fast as Demolitionist would normally. So Sun Warrior is going to keep your abilities up very often, so you're usually going to have your melee and your grenade, so you can spend Wellspring on getting back your barricade charge so you can use Icefall Mantle even quicker. Now, the perk that I'm using to get charged with light is just taking charge, generating orbs of light, and picking them up will give you a single stack of charge with light, and in strikes and whatnot, it's really common to find orbs of light, so I found this one was the cheapest, most cost-effective way of getting charged with light. So on my helmet, I have Supercharge, which ups your amount of stacks of charged with light up to 4. So instead of holding just 2, now you can hold 4. I have Ashes to Assets on there just to get abilities up faster, and Submachine Gun Ammo Finder was on there by accident. I was using Cold Front with Subsistence, and that thing burns through ammo so fast. That's an accidental mod. Don't call me a noob, please. And the final mod is Loosened Blade. Getting a hit with your sword while you're charged with light will give you a 35% damage boost, which goes very well with Lament because it already does a ton of damage, and now you do 35% more. And the secondary part is Replenishing Guard. Your sword charge replenishes faster, and that other mod on there, Outreach, is again just to keep my abilities up quicker. The last thing here is just my special weapon. I picked Adored because it's not sunset, it has pretty good perks, and I wanted something that was kind of longer ranged because picking something like a shotgun, I'd have a sword, shotgun, and my hand cannon isn't powerful enough to count as something, like long range power. So I wanted something that could hit hard enough at a longer range because I am using a sword, so that's why I picked Adored. One last note is that there's plenty of wiggle room with those mods. I think I only chose 4 of the 5 of the far right mod slots, like the Charged with Light section. You could easily, in that 5th slot, put like a Warmind Cell mod because Warmind Cells are still really, really good. So basically the 4 mods you really have to have are number 1, Protective Light for that damage resistance. You need Loosened Blade for that extra damage, Taking Charge so that you can get charged with light, and Supercharge so that you can hold more charges. The last part of this video is going to be just a demonstration in a lost sector on how good this thing is at keeping you alive. So right there, that barrel damages me a bunch, but that Vandal dying to my melee and creating a sunspot re-healed me. I just killed 4 more enemies, generated a new sunspot, and now I'm going to go stand up on this little ship here, I think that's what it is. Let myself get to red bar, and just watch how big of a damage reduction that is. This mod is insane. Like, I'm just sitting here tanking all of it. Now, I pop my overshield, and it's a beefy overshield in PvE. Not as good in PvP, but I digress. So now I'm going to burn this shield off, and then I'll show you exactly how good the Lament is at re-healing. So my health gets pretty low here. I block, strike, and boom, I get a bunch of health back. And I only did really one hit there, because this thing has weird tracking. Sometimes you just totally fly past a boss. Alright everybody, that is going to do it for the Invincible Mantle build video. If you have any improvements or things you just want to talk about, drop a comment down below. If you liked what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean a great deal to me. I just want to thank you again for taking some time out of your day to come and watch this video.
Until next time, big love, Big Dilly.